Welcome to Total Football with Sports Adda. Hi Sid, yesterday 3 games, completely contrasting and shocking results in all the 3 games. Sid, what do you have to say about the matches that you saw yesterday?
Absolutely shocking results, but from a statsman point of view, though we are wrong, contradictory results are even more fun. Everyone wanted
Yeah,
goals. The Scotland match, the goal that they scored against Scotland, amazing from half line.
yes,
So you don't expect that, in such a big tournament, but good stuff to watch. And even with Spain, Sweden played fantastic. They were very resilient at the back. And even Spain giving a shocker, starting Pedri, the Barcelona youngster, the first 18-year-old to start a match.
yes. So, Sid, do you think that goal scored by the Czech Republic forward, do you think that is the goal of the tournament by far? Or still think the Yamalenko strike was a better one?
From presence of mind, yes, yesterday's goal was amazing, but Yarmolenko's further was amazing. I think that was top for me.
And shockingly, Poland lost to Slovakia. We were talking about how after the 2000 Slovakia have had the upper edge, but it was not
Yeah,
expected. Polish squad being such a polished squad, they lost to Slovakia, and it will be pretty disappointing for them, especially for Lewandowski.
absolutely. Lewandowski seemed a bit off the pace. He did get a few chances, few, but he had his chances, but he
Yeah,
seemed to miss them. Okay, he didn't seem as sharp as he was in the Bundesliga, and Poland will hope for him to step up. And amazingly, again another own goal by Wojciech Szczesny. Okay, that's two own goals in the tournament and already, and both scored by Juventus players.
wow, that's an interesting stat out there. So that was the recap of yesterday's matches. But quickly moving on to the first game, it's the dynamite Portugal. They're taking on the Hungarians. Hungary versus Portugal. Rings any bells? The Euro 2016, the 3-all draw.
Yeah.
Jucek scoring couple of goals, then Ronaldo scoring couple of goals. What do you have to say? Where were you when that game happened?
So I was at home, we were watching with a couple of friends, a lot of Portugal fans, and they were livid to say the least.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
can we, not score against Hungary, score, conceding 3 goals from Hungary. So it was really an amazing match that day.
Now, speaking of Portugal, you have to talk about the head-to-head how they've played in the past, and it's completely one-sided. It's a landsliding victory for Portugal. If you look at these stats here, out of 13 games, they've won 9 of them and drawn 4. So, a worrisome point for Hungary, or what do you think of it?
So if I talk about Hungary, okay, it's difficult to underplay just how special this match is for them. It's arguably the biggest one ever held in the country. It's Hungary's first match as a Euros host, and it's against the reigning champions Portugal. And it's being held in a city where 9 of their current squad were born. So a lot of special moments for them. And again, the stats that he just said, 9 wins and 4 draws for Portugal. But even with that, as you had mentioned, the 3-all draw, okay, that is still going to be in Portugal's mind. They cannot underestimate Hungary, right? So there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to, actually live up to the expectations this time. And if you see Hungary also coming in, they are 11 matches undefeated and only failed to score once in the last 15 matches. So Hungary do have it in them to score a few.
Definitely, they do. And just continuing about the 2016 Euros, what Portugal did, it was a fairy tale win for them. Winning the Euros, being the underdogs in that tournament, being the dark horse, if I may say, because the Germans were power packed, the Spanish team was, and so was France. And beating France in France, how impactful was that for Portuguese football and for the generations to come by in their future?
Yeah, so it is very important for them. Even if you look at Portugal, okay, they in the last Euro they didn't win a single game in the group stage. They actually qualified third, which is again a possibility. With the group
Yeah.
of tests that they're in. Okay, they drew all their 3 games and managed to qualify through that third player best option. So that's what they went for that's how they qualified last time. But I don't think that's what they want to go for this time. They want to stop the group,
Yeah.
and they have a strong overall record in the competition, reaching the semi-finals in 1984, 2000, and 2012, while they were the quarterfinalists in 96 and 2008, and again runners-up in 2004 and winners in 2016. So they have the experience in this
In this
tournament.
tournament.
So
Correct.
a lot of expectations of them, but a few concerns. And just one concern: how Cancelo has been ruled out due to COVID. Okay, so I expect Nelson Semedo to start in place of him.
That's kind of a loss for them because Cancelo has been playing really good football, and even club level he's been performing really well for Manchester City, and he's won it all this season. So he might be high on confidence, but this is a kind of a setback for the Portuguese team. Nevertheless, Semedo is a good player. We all know that he's been playing really well, so he'll get an opportunity like you just said. But
Yeah.
how can we not talk about Cristiano Ronaldo? What do you have to say about this guy and the maturity that he has? We've seen him grow. Since we were young, we've seen him, we've looked up to him. So what do you have to say about him and his international performances? He has this brilliant record. I think he's going to break the record for the most goals scored by an individual for a country.
Absolutely. So he is a legend in himself. Everyone in football, be it a passive fan, active fan, at club level, international level, everyone knows who he is. Okay, he's a talisman, just like Messi. Ronaldo is someone who everyone looks up to. That's the perennial debate: who's the better one,
Yes.
and we'll not get into that.
Yeah.
That will go on for us. But, yeah, so he has a lot of experience, and as you said about his goal scoring exploits, he's the most capped player for his country, and the second most goal scorer at international level with he's just five off the record, equaling the record. And
Yeah.
maybe this tournament is where he equals and maybe breaks it as well.
Maybe fingers crossed for most Portuguese fans here. But speaking
Yeah.
of the players to watch out for, Sid, what are your thoughts on these two players here that we have?
So Bruno Fernandes, brilliant season with Manchester United. Almost 30 goals, I believe, is what he's contributed. So a lot of attacking threat is expected from Bruno Fernandes, but the only difference is in the Portuguese squad. I think he'll be a little more withdrawn in the midfield.
Yeah.
With Ronaldo, Silva, Jota being in the attacking three, he'll probably sit a little more back in midfield. But yes, he is going to be more of a provider and making those late runs in the box where he can score. And
Yeah.
if I look at the main veteran striker Adam Slazai, okay, so he's going to be the main attacking threat, and again for his country, the most caps and most goals scored. So
Yeah.
a lot of expectations from him to provide that attacking threat. But also, what I believe in the Hungarian team is the Bristol City midfielder Aaron Nagy. Okay, he'll be the
Yeah.
one to dictate play and probably provide the balls for him.
So, Sid, I have this question for you. You think, Cristiano Ronaldo has these players, the inclusion of Bruno Fernandes, Diogo Jota, and Bernardo Silva, like you just said. So, do you think the inclusion of these players gives him a kind of relief and, takes the pressure and burden off him a little? Because we've seen all these years, being football fans, we know how much pressure Portugal, how much pressure Ronaldo is in when he plays. Because he always has to make a statement, as he has made a reputation for himself that he's the best in the world. So, do you think with the inclusion of these players, he feels a bit more relaxed, and we could see a very carefree and a very a brilliant Cristiano Ronaldo in this tournament than one who is always under pressure?
Actually, I think it's going to be the contrary. He's going to expect a lot more from himself in this tournament. In the previous tournaments, maybe he didn't have the supply for his attacking runs, but with these players coming in, okay, there has been a change in the contingency or the contingent. Okay, there are only 11 players from the last Euros. A lot of young talent has come in, and he's going to be like, okay, I'm going into this tournament. Last time I was the underdog. This time I'm expecting to win. I have the squad to back me up. I have the players to put in the balls for the runs that I'm making. So
That's
he's
true.
going to
That's
put
true.
a lot of pressure on himself, in knowing Ronaldo, the kind of player he is. He expects himself to be the best. So
Yes.
that's going to be a factor for him. That he is going to put a lot of pressure. Just hopefully he doesn't put too much on himself.
I hope not. I hope not. And the Hungarians, the total football term that has been taken over by the Dutch, as we all know, was actually started by the Hungarian team in the 1940s. The team that actually, performed really well at World Cups and the Euros. They were the team that brought in the total football. So they have some kind of history in their footballing culture as well. So you can expect some kind of a surprise because the last time around, like we just spoke, it was a 3-all draw. And this time around, Portugal having a much better squad, much balanced team. Sid, moving to the last question, what are your predictions for today's game in this Portugal versus Hungary fixture?
So I expect Portugal to go all guns blazing in this match. They are using this as a stepping stone. With the next match coming in, okay, that is a big match, and you can't really decide. All the next matches for Portugal are going to be tough ones, okay, against Germany and
France.
So France. So it's going to be tough for them. So they want 3 points here to give them a head start on the others, and then maybe try and capitulate and hit them on the counter and take top spot for themselves. So I expect Portugal to take this as a 3-0 win.
3-0 win, and hopefully a Cristiano Ronaldo hat trick, or probably anything where Cristiano Ronaldo is there, because we love that guy. He's forever young. No one can say that he's over 35.
Anything to get him one step closer to that record.
Yes, anything to get him one step closer to the record. Now, thank you, Sid, for that prediction. Now, let's move on to the second game. It's the best game of the tournament by far. It's France versus Germany. The World Cup champions versus the 2014 World Cup champions. So, what are your thoughts, Sid, on these two teams and this fixture and the magnitude of this game?
Just what a game we have on our hands with this one. Two World Cup champions over the last 8 years or 10 years, if you consider the last two. But immense pressure on these two guys. Everyone is expecting them to win all the games. Not only their country, but even in other countries like India or other countries not participating, they know these teams. We have great expectations of them. And if I look at the German team, they're going to have some expectations of them, as we discussed in the preview of the tournament. They are going for the fourth title to take them away from the record, take that from Spain. Right now they're tied. They want to be the best, but that's going to be an expectation of the German national team. But France are no knockovers. It's going to be a tough match for both of them.
It will be a neck-to-neck competition. But firstly and most importantly, I want to speak about the managers here. The two managers, they've been supremely successful. They have been really, they have changed the course of French and German football respectively. They've achieved so much in their international managerial careers. So Sid, what are your thoughts on these two?
So if I talk about the German manager Joachim Löw, okay, there's going to be a lot of expectations from him. It being his last tournament for the German national team. He's actually stepping down for this tournament. He has won the World Cup for himself and this country, but he want to end it on a high, winning this Euros. So he'll want to push his team, and the team themselves would want to win it for their manager. Yeah. And if I talk about the French manager, Deschamps, okay, so he's going to have a lot of pressure on him, the weight of the nation. They've won the World Cup. They were finalists in the last Euros. They want to win this, okay? And if he does win it, he's going to be the only person who won both the Euros and World Cup, both as a player and manager. So that will be a record and unique thing in itself.
That's a record in itself. That's exactly true. And to speak about Sid, the head-to-head matches that they've had, in competitions, I have seen that France have the upper hand here with 14 wins. So what do you have to say about this, and how will this pan out? Does this stat matter when it is a game of such high intensity?
Well, it doesn't really matter, but with both these great nations, it might prove to be a little bit of a mental drawback for Germany. Not having won as many as France, they will have that at the back of their heads that we need to change this record and these stats over there.
Yeah. Sid, in the last couple of times, I have seen that Germany have failed to perform well against France from the 2014 World Cup to 16. I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So France have had the upper hand, and this man, Antoine Griezmann, he has really stepped up and he has performed really well. So, what do you have to say about him and how impactful will he be today? Will he be the player to make the difference? Because in this French side, there are 11 of them who can do it. But is he the one?
Yeah, so if you see Antoine Griezmann is going to be an impactful player for them. He has been over the last few tournaments. So a lot of expectations from him. Even with Giroud, the reigning top goal scorer for France, he's going to find it a little difficult getting into the squad with Benzema coming back. And
Yeah.
in the last friendly, he did score 2 goals after Benzema went off injured. But from what I'm hearing, is Benzema's back in training, and that will be a no-brainer for Deschamps. Benzema has to start. He has been performing brilliantly for Real Madrid all these years. He is a brilliant target man, can link up play just like Giroud. But Giroud has his own record in itself. He won the last World Cup without scoring a goal as a striker. So that was amazing. But he is good and brilliant in link-up play. That is why all the teams target him. They want him. That target man holds up play, brings in other people, and that's what helps Griezmann, Dembele, Mbappe come in and score the goals.
So yeah, that's a good point you made there, because Giroud is someone who is not really known to score goals at will. He's not someone who will score 3 goals, 2 goals like a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Lewandowski probably. But he is more of that guy who supports you. Even since his club football days in Arsenal, we know that how impactful he was at Arsenal as well. So he's a player definitely who can make that difference up front. And he's a player who the centre backs are always intrigued of, that we have to mark this guy, we have to make sure we don't give that slight bit of space. So it's going to be an interesting neck-to-neck contest here, like we just said. But who do you think is the player to watch out for in this fixture?
So there are a few players who I think will be there. If I look at Germany, there's going to be Kai Havertz, Kimmich, Müller. There are a lot of players that the German national team have in their arsenal. Okay, even Nabi, who is playing as a false nine at times. So a lot of attacking potential that the German national team has, and they've recently in their friendly they tried a 3-man backline to help protect Neuer. So shift from their traditional formation, but I believe Germany has it in them to form an attacking threat as well. And if you see France, an amazing array of players. Their front line is one of the most threatening out there. So let's see.
So give me your insights about today's game. What do you think? Is it going to be a very, stalemate, or you can see a lot of goals in today's game? What are your thoughts about it?
So this is a mouth-watering side, and could very well be settled by a moment of magic from the likes of Mbappe or Benzema, or if Giroud comes in as a substitute, he has it in him, the overhead kicks or the scorpion kicks, and the Germans are not exactly the force they once were. Okay, they are in a transition period themselves, so I'll be backing the Blues to take the spoils by the narrowest of margins. So maybe a 1-0 or a 2-1 victory.
Or maybe an own goal, because we've seen a lot today in these couple of matches that happened yesterday.
Juventus players, if I'm not wrong.
Excellent. But there's something that I just want to add, that like we have so much to talk about individual French players. There is a reason why we don't have something about something to talk about the Germans, because there was an interview which Thomas Muller gave before the Euros, where he clearly mentioned that we Germans have been brought up with a mentality of being the best as a team. That's why he said that there are not many Ballon d'Or winners who are Germans. You won't see a Ballon d'Or won by Thomas Muller or probably a Neuer. There are not many German Ballon d'Or winners, but you will see a lot of but there are not individually. There's not no Messi, no Ronaldo, no single person there in this German team. They're always like a bunch of players, and they've won it all. The best team, the most successful, one of the most successful World Cup teams as well. So they are not a team that can be easily, kept aside or kept quiet for a long time. So it's going to be interesting to see, Sid. And as you predicted, it's France, because they have the upper hand in this fixture. It's really going to be a cracker of a game. And I'm really looking forward to watch it tonight. I won't sleep, but I will make sure that I watch every minute of this game.
But interestingly, in the Muller interview that he mentioned, why he mentioned that they are grown as a team. At the end, showing the four, because he mentioned the 4 stars on their badges for the trophies that
Yes,
they won.
exactly, exactly. That's what he said. That's what he said. I
Yeah,
completely forgot that part. But
yeah,
brilliant, Sid. Thank you for joining with me. Thank you for all the stats and insights. It was amazing to have you. And hopefully today we will see a goal fest between these four matches, these two matches and four teams. And thank you for joining with me, Sid. I will see you tomorrow. This was Total Football by Sports Adda. Thank you.
thank you.